Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and this story is one that we're still waiting on absolute confirmation of, but the story's been blowing up over the course of the past couple days, and it just kind of hit a fever pitch today, which is how I learned about it. But apparently, in Chechnya, there are, or is at least one, gay concentration camp. It's the best way to describe it. And more than 100 gay men have been rounded up and taken to this camp to be beaten and tortured. And it's fucking insane to think that, and I'm going to say it, in current year, this is still happening. But it's happening in Russia. And I know Russia is very anti-gay, but you don't hear about these kind of things coming out of Russia very often. And that's probably because of the clampdown that they have on a number of these particular types of stories. Usually you hear about these situations brewing in places like Pakistan and, the Middle East and things like that. And you kind of associate, like Saudi Arabia, they've thrown gay men off of rooftops to kill them. I mean, and yet they're at the UN, they're given like a human rights, or they're leading the Human Rights Commission or some such shit. It's fucking horseshit. But there's, in that part of the world, and not just with Muslims or whatever, there's this huge hatred of the LGBT community. And it's absolutely shitty that this kind of stuff is going on. So let's take a look at this story here. Again, it's not, we haven't seen photos or anything else, but this is what's being reported, and it's pretty fucking horrible. So it says here that a human rights horror has erupted in Chechnya, where more than 100 gay men have been rounded up and sent to concentration camps where they're tortured. The report is by Novoya Gazeta, which they said officials in the dictatorship have told homosexuals if they don't leave the country, they'll be sent to camps where they will be killed. All right, so at least they're giving them the option to leave. That's better than the fucking Holocaust, where they just rounded them up and threw them in fucking camps and then killed them. They're given the option to expatriate themselves from their home country, a country of 1.3 million people, in order to avoid, the purge of the homosexual. And that is really fucking tragic. It says the camps are chillingly reminiscent of death gulags set up by Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler to exterminate gay men and women during the Second World War. Some might sit there and go, oh, Godwin's Law. No. You can't really argue Godwin's Law when it's literally talking about Hitler, though. That's the whole issue. But that's what it seems like. Again, that's what it fucking seems like. It says here from Svetlana Zakharova from the Russian LGBT network says, gay people have been detained and rounded up, and we are working to evacuate people from camps, and some have now left the region. Okay, so Svetlana should at least be able to provide some kind of photographic evidence. Again, I'm not saying this isn't happening. I'm just saying I haven't seen any photographic evidence of this particular shit. It says here, she continued on saying, I should say, those who have escaped said they are detained in the same room and people are kept together around 30 or 40. They are tortured with electric currents and heavily beaten, sometimes to death. It's fucking horrible. At least 3 men have been killed, she says. One man who escaped told the Gazeta that the prisoners who are brutally beaten to force them to rat out other members of the LGBT community, which very much feels like, that feels like what you would expect in a situation like this. They would beat people to rat on their friends. Like, oh, who else is gay? If you tell us who is gay, we will stop the beatings, and you might also get a cookie. It's horrible because people can only take so much of that shit. People can only take so much of that pain and of that suffering before they crack. And man, it's fucking terrible. So it says here that, in addition, others pay thousands of rubles every month in protection money to the local cops, which does seem like it might be happening. I could totally see that happening. It's like, well, people might know you're gay, but if the cops are, being told to round up gay people, and it's not like some brown shirt scenario, then if, they're getting paid off, they might look the other fucking direction. But that's not a long-term solution. That is not a long-term solution, period. Because money will save your ass for only such a long amount of time, only so long. And then it might come back and bite you in the ass because eventually there's going to be either a sweeter deal on the table, or the person who's protecting you can't risk protecting you any longer. And that's just the reality of it. But it says here, we can only call on the Russian authorities to investigate the allegations, said Alexander Artemiev of Amnesty International. I probably butchered that name, of Amnesty International, saying homosexuals in Chechnya are treated very harshly and prosecuted daily, and they are afraid to talk about it. Totally understandable. I mean, if this camp is to be believed, if that is legitimately what is going on, that is fucking insane. And you know, what the shit, Russia? What? Like, I know that Russia hates gay. I know Vladimir Putin hates gay people. I know that on Russian state-sponsored television, they talk about, like, homosexuals as sodomites, and sodomites are evil. And, like, I've seen those videos of it, and you know that they have this kind of propaganda. But the camps are just insane to me. It's just, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it. Legitimately wrapping my head around it. And, you know, but it's not out of the realm of what humans have done to each other for years. You know, I mean, look at the Holocaust. Look at the internment camps here in the United States. Other places have done very similar things. It's not uncommon. It's horrific. It's horrendous. It's terrible, but it's not uncommon. But he goes on to say here, they either have to hide or leave the Republic. The problem is people there cannot talk about it, as it puts their lives and those they speak to in danger. Which is true, especially if people are being rounded up, beaten, and tortured for days on end in order to give up their friends, in order to give up their cohorts, their brothers, their sisters, their allies, their homies, you know, their peeps, and everything. Because again, it's going to be, a person can only sustain so much before they break or they die. You know, and you can pretty much be sure that some people out there are going to give up. They're going to sing like a fucking songbird when they crack. But this is where it gets fucked up. Besides brutal camps, many LGBT people face honor killings by their families. We've been hearing a lot of honor killings lately coming out of I think it was Pakistan. Like a vlogger was recently killed by her brother for being a little bit too provocative. There was a woman who divorced her husband, and she had just remarried, and the family of the first husband showed up literally outside of the courthouse and stoned her to death. This was like last year. These things happen, and they're fucking horrific. And the fact that it's happening there with this is just, again, it's like, you don't think like that, because this kind of stuff doesn't get talked about, especially not in certain parts of YouTube and certain parts of whatever. The fact that this is coming to light is just insane. President Ramzan Kadyrov, if I'm saying that right, an ally of strongman Vladimir Putin, is the one who ordered the clampdown. He says the charges were absolute lies and disinformation. One of the despot's aides said that there are no gay people in the Republic. Now that's pretty interesting to me. So the president of Chechnya, the guy who rules over 1.3 million people, is all like, this is wrong. This is hashtag fake news. And then an aide's going like, there's no gay people here. I mean, and the truth is that's probably accurate on an outward facing perspective, right? Because they can't claim that there are gay people there, because then it might give some form of truth to the fucking, to the claim of these camps. But then you've also got, the fact that they want to maintain the idea that they are, 100% gay free. And so they're just going to keep that going. And if anyone gets in, any of them pesky LGBT people get through that door, they're fucked, and that is just, it's fucking horrific. And it's just fucking horrific. Some people out there might go, oh, Matt, you're just virtue signaling for this shit. Look, man, let's just take this at face value. Let's just take this at reality. What if this is real? Right? Like, what if this is real? For one, I think there would be some kind of proof brought forward. I don't know why people would make up a lie about this, at least. I guess I could see why they would make up a lie about this. But at the same time, it's like, we know that there are state-sponsored reports coming out of Russia that talk about sodomy being the devil's work and shit. Like, this is not an uncommon thing for Russia. They really do not like gay people there. So I'm more inclined to believe that something like this might be happening for the case of purifying the Russian people and getting rid of the scourge of sodomy. And it's just it's fucking it's bad. It's just bad. It's the way I see it. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think that this is legitimately happening? Do you think that this is a made-up story trying to push an anti-Putin, anti-Russian agenda? Or do you think this is a real deal? Like, I mean, is this something you would expect to happen there? I'm very curious to know your thoughts on this. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. If you guys haven't already, please thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I do post new stuff practically every single day. If you want to check out more content from me, I got my vlog channel, Mundane Chats. I got my movie news channel, 3 Buck Theater. And if you also want to support the channel, links below in the video description. Patreon, PayPal, Amazon affiliate really does help me out right now. And probably soon t-shirts because I'm a fucking, shill. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.